What's up, Narrative Breakers? Got an interesting story for today. Senator John Fetterman actually stunned ABC for defending Donald Trump. It is super crazy. No one really expected this except anyone that has two eyes. It's truly been secret hints of this coming. John Fetterman turning red-pilled, and so is everyone. It's not just him. It's an entire movement that has taken over. It's an infection that's spreading across this nation, and it's conservatism. We're going to break down to how this new virus is taking off.
And after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head, and had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not.
Oh man, that's interesting for him. Even how he started it off saying that it's Kamala Harris' prerogative to call Donald Trump a fascist, pretty much saying that it's her plans. It's the way that she works. That's the way she gets down. She'll give you labels that don't exist. Her and the entire Democrat Party, for that matter, they'll stamp a label on somebody to try to prevent a normie from listening to them. It's the most absolutely disgusting thing about the media. They label individuals just to try to tarnish their credibility and the trust. And that's what Kamala Harris was doing with Trump. And interesting to see John Fetterman expose this. So, as I said in the beginning of the video, there is an infection taking over the nation of conservatism. And what is happening? It is because, and you guys might think I'm crazy, I believe that there is rumor of Trump's retribution and Trump's revenge being so... I'm thinking the hammer's coming down so heavy, right? That people are groveling for his respect. You got Jeff Bezos trying to be his friend now, Mark Zuckerberg. You got the John Fetterman thing, because at the end of the day, nothing repairs anything like time does. And now that the man won after all that adversity, and Democrats know more than anyone because they are part of the team to try to get rid of him. I mean, John Fetterman, I have videos of John Fetterman talking about Trump during the election, calling him weird with J.D. Vance with that whole thing. So he understands the narratives that was against Trump. Imagine truly seeing the behind the scenes and a guy still win after you know for a fact you and your team gave him everything you got. You see, it's the fact that people fear his revenge because it's going to come. Oh, the hammer's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Or people are at the point where they have to give him respect. And I know that's hard for conservatives to believe. I know conservatives are like, bro, did he lose his mind? Yeah, liberals are actually at the point where some of them are just giving him respect because it's like, dude, we lose. We're just in a very special age where we're witnessing them throw up the white flag, and we've been getting beat so bad that it doesn't feel real. It's happening. The white flag has been raised.
A word that I would use because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascists. And also fascism. That's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect.
I'm not going to keep cutting you guys off. That's crazy that he mentioned how fascism, the word fascist, isn't a word that's typically used. You see, we get a false sense of reality when we be on social media because people will know these words, fascist, misogynist, all those other things. A lot of the general public isn't tuned to these words. People like a YouTube audience that I have, I'm sure most of you would know what the word is, but not anyone that isn't seeking that type of content. So it creates a false reality of what other people are talking about. And he knows regular people, regular Americans are pushing Trump.
And project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
Are you going to be Donald Trump's favorite Democrat in the Senate?
I don't know what that really means because you never know. But what I am is I'm just a regular Democrat. I'm not leaving my party, but I'm not sure why some of the things that I've chosen to do, like meeting with nominees and having views that might be more aligned with some of the Republican side, I think that's part of politics, and that's pretty much consisting with just doing the job and representing the kind of state that we have in Pennsylvania.
Looking forward, what are you most optimistic about with a Trump presidency, and what do you fear?
Well, it's like I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out. You know, like the constant, freak out. It's not helpful. So, pack a lunch.
Wow, John Fetterman's breaking down how they are pushing fear-mongering. From New York Mayor Eric Adams to John Fetterman, is it possible that a Democrat Party is sending snakes in to bite us? Is it possible? Because the thing is, the Democrat Party is a very powerful party, and we have to remember, guys, it is the oldest party in America right now. It's the oldest one. So with that being said, they know a thing or two about surviving, longevity. Are they possibly just trying to shed their skin because they understand that conservatives hold the power right now and possibly for the next 8 years? It's possible. And that's a fear that I have, that this is all just some ploy to lure us in. But if it isn't, if it's genuine, then we are in possibly, to me, one of the most historic eras in human history.
Pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet.
Do you think he has the potential to be a successful and a good president?
I hope, because I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. And I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be truth.
What was the single biggest factor behind Kamala Harris and Democrats losing in November?
You have a singular political talent. It's undeniable.
Trump.
He had the energy and almost a sense of fearlessness to just say all those kinds of things. And people, it's undeniable that it has an entertaining aspect for that too. And just, if you're not afraid to say all of those things, and after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head, yeah, and had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use, because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know, and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascists. And also fascism, that's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
This is crazy. I mean, it does seem genuine, guys, but that's the thing. A good snake knows how to shed its skin and manipulate the public. But I tell you, Mayor Eric Adams definitely seems genuine because the party is coming after him. I want to see if the party is going to come after Fetterman. And then you having, the dude from the Turks. He comes out, speak on stage with us on AmFest. I don't know. One thing I don't like, though, and I'm sorry, I'm good with us healing and moving forward as a country, but these people really did try to destroy a lot of our lives, and even mine. I was slandered by the mainstream media. They tried to call me a pedo. Dude, it's absolutely unreal. Unreal. And they constantly slander me, saying I shared a CSAM piece of content, which I didn't. I shared a news article that was from outside of you. I think it was like freaking Peru or something. It was like a Peruvian article that I had, an original article. The article didn't actually show it. I was somehow banned for something 5 weeks later after it was posted. It was on my page, completely fine. Everyone saw it. No one said anything. I randomly get banned 5 weeks later. Never posted what the mainstream media says. If you want to look at it, just type in Dom Lucre posts and you'll just see it. They slandered my name. And these same people from the media want to come grovel down. They ain't going to delete those posts. There are real people that have been affected by this machine. And I'm sorry that it's not that easy for me just to forgive these people, because they wouldn't give us a pot to piss. These people told us they wanted us to be defranchised. They wanted us to be poor. And when they lose, we accept them in. Like, come on, what the hell are we doing sometime? Now that you in the losing, like, why didn't y'all do that when we needed you? Why didn't you do that when we were begging for help in 2020? Why now when you're losing? It's cowardice. It's cowardice. I want to see the hammer come down on these people, man.
I talked to a lot of Democrats before the election who were saying, we're going to win, Harris is going to win in Pennsylvania. But you saw this coming.
If you live in Pennsylvania and you spend time in Red County, Pennsylvania, as much as I did, the support's astonishing. I mean, I was driving home from Indiana County at 9 o'clock, and there was a Trump superstore on the side of a road. 9 o'clock on Friday night, and people are buying swag. And then that really crystallized at the assassination. And that was in Butler County, Western Pennsylvania, fairly close to where I live. And the day or two later, you start seeing people wearing shirts with that iconic picture, and the energy and the anger, and it's like, wow, I really thought. In fact, I thought that might be ball game, and then the second thing really, and that's when Musk and I. We're in the business. Surrogacy is part of it, and sometimes it really has much of an impact. But I knew that was going to be a special one. And
the endorsement by Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, an endorsement and an active one, and I'm not even talking about his checkbook.
Yeah.
It's rare if you have a surrogate that has a lot of fanboys, and is very compelling to a lot of the demographic that we are losing in our party and in Pennsylvania.
Do you think he would have won without Elon Musk?
Well, I'm not sure.
He would have won because he got Scott Presler.
If we would have lost Bob Casey, but I do think Trump, it would have been closer. I really believe that it mattered. We lost Bob Casey for 15,000 votes. And I'm sure he did move.
It's just strange to see these people start to actually tell the truth. Does it feel like we're dreaming? It just does not feel like real life whatsoever. Just to be witnessing this, these people actually telling the truth, letting people know that they're losing. And that's crazy.
The needle, it's undeniable.
How would you grade the Trump transition?
Well, I mean, it's not really a grade, but I'm saying this as a Democrat. It's like I clearly, after he announced Gates, and I'm like, that's just, I described that. That's God tier trolling. I mean, that was never serious. And anyone here in Congress knows that he's despised by Republicans too. So that also set the stage, and here's what's coming. And now I have met with all of them so far, and the ones that we haven't.
His nominees.
They're on the schedule back in January.
You met with Pete Hegseth.
I did, yeah.
You think he's qualified to be defense secretary?
Well, I think we're going to learn more. We're going to learn more. And that hearing, and there's going to be an FBI background and that. But, my commitment, and I think I'm doing the job, is I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. And the president picked these people, not going to be my first choice, second choice, third choice. But that's democracy. And to me, it would be distressing if he is confirmed, if the Democrats are going to turn our back collectively to the leader of the defense. That's astonishing, and that's dangerous.
So you see yourself inclined to be open to supporting these controversial nominees. You might not support them all, but you see yourself...
Potentially.
Yeah.
But there is going to be some that I will vote yes, and there's some maybe that I'll vote no. But nobody can accuse me of just saying I had a closed mind, or I just said no because Trump picked this person, or whatever.
I saw you, Elise Stefanik, you have said you're going to vote for her. I saw you with her thumbs up.
Yeah, well...
John Fetterman hopefully will inspire other Democrats to follow this more truthful approach. I tell you, Mark Zuckerberg, I think, was the most significant because he was the one that put the money last time. So To have someone that stopped spending their money and now trying to appeal to conservatives. Another thing you guys are going to have to expect is the media is going to start looking very conservative. I'm talking about like TV shows, cartoons, music is going to start reflecting a conservative outlook. I would bet my top dollar on that. I bet everything I own that you're going to start seeing more conservative speakers on things like The View. Like seriously, in places that you didn't expect conservatives, expect to see them. I'm talking about things like conservatives taking over CNN. I can see it. I can see it actually happening. It's a real possibility because we have the culture right now, and I hope this shows to people that how important the culture is. That's why Democrats started those hashtag campaigns in the past and started those marching and those movements, because it becomes a cultural thing. And once you have the culture, you have the country. And we have the culture right now, undoubtedly. So since we have the culture, art, music, food, all those things will start reflecting what? The current culture. It's going to have to start being conservative. We're about to be living through that.
And Rubio, for me, it's like, Rubio, for me, it's like he's in the other party, obviously. But, there's a lot of, the Venn is closer. There's a lot of overlap. Yeah. And now if I was, as a Democrat, looking to assemble a bipartisan cabinet, he'd be a solid choice, from a Democrat.
You met with Kash Patel, I believe, right?
Yesterday, well, yes.
He's talked about going after Trump's enemies.
Yeah, and we've had conversations, but we had all of these interviews were all off the record, and those things. So I'm not going to go into detail, but he absolutely that's never going to happen. Like he was.
Man, I just don't know. We are really about to see a point where possibly we have a Democrat and Republican Party that can work with each other. What would this say for the next 4 years? Now, what I fear is that they get themselves real nice and cozy and get conservatives to start embracing their ideologies, and then too many conservatives are willing to vote Democrat in 4 years, and they completely switch on everyone. And man, that's the problem. That's the fears that I have. That they're going to sit here and become too appealing to conservatives, which means they have an actual chance at flipping our states. They're trying to flip Arizona. Like, they're trying to flip Florida. They're trying to flip Texas. They're failing, but they're trying. And what happens if they become more appealing? I know people might be like, Dom, that's impossible. Conservatives won't embrace it. Yes, they will. Elon Musk. Elon Musk was the poster boy for liberals. He was the dude that was saving the earth. Super cool. Cool with the celebrities, embraced by everyone, somewhat like Trump, right? But what did he push? Things that conservatives could have never got with. Conservatives are traditional people, more rural people, not really the big tech heads. We do have big tech heads, but I don't want to overgeneralize us at all. But I guess people could understand that you would expect to see more liberals at things like an Apple convention. Is that a stretch to say that? With that concept, they would not embrace anything that Elon Musk pushes. You think that conservatives, and I know this, I've been a conservative since I was sick. I'm 6 years old. Dude, there's no way. Conservatives at the past, they were completely anti-automated vehicles. Conservatives are the most gas-loving individuals ever. Now we all talking about autonomous cars. It's not a shot to Elon Musk. I'm telling people the dangers of what can happen. These liberals can break into our industry, and they can break into our votes. They can break into our hearts. What happens if Elon Musk was to ever flip? We screwed, dude. I don't think he ever would, of course. But do you think conservatives before Elon Musk became a hero? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Do you think conservatives would have truly put a brain chip in their head or consider it? I don't believe so. I don't think conservatives would have ever considered that. But they will now, because Elon Musk is here. Elon Musk, the way he's presented it. Autonomous cars. It's just not anything that's typically conservative. It can happen. We can be manipulated into supporting Democrats. And if we overly support these people and they run against our politicians, we could be in big trouble, because they could then switch and show us who they really might be.
He was very.
He's not
forceful
going to use the FBI to go after Trump's enemies.
Like, no, that's not it. Or
did you believe him?
Taken.
I mean, he's written a lot.
Like that's what he claims.
Yeah.
And I found out, his family's origin story and immigration, and we talked about that, and my family immigration and things. And so I learned things about him. I never knew that he was a public defender.
So did you come across liking Kash Patel more than you thought you would, thinking you could support him?
It's I mean, how much you can absorb in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I have learned things, and I have heard things, and I have no regrets for having these. I never left any of those interviews saying, wow, that was a waste of time, or I regret that.
Have you talked to Trump since the election?
I have not. I have not, no.
So I assume he's going to call you at some point. What is your message to him after he sees this?
What would I say to him? I'd be like, well, hey, congratulations, and have an honest conversations of things I would like we could work together, and some things we're going to disagree. I'd like to avoid the cheap heat and some of the other stuff, but it's going to be a kooky ride, I'm sure. And I try to be a committed, steady voice for Pennsylvania, and to remember that we have to find as many wins in the middle of an incredibly divisive times.
All right, our thanks to Senator Fetterman. Coming up,
No one wants to hear that. Super interesting, and Fetterman has truly shocked pretty much everyone with this. It's been breaking on X. It's all over the internet. So it's super interesting to see where it goes, what it leads to. I don't have much else for us. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated for the next video. Thank you guys for everything.